Welcome to Get Known, Be Seen WebTV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my absolute delight to have on this session, Melissa Desveaux. Welcome, Melissa. It's good to have you here.
Hi, Trish. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely delighted. And Get Known, Be Seen WebTV is all about helping you to get known and be seen. So we have as guests on our show those people who've got something exciting, something new, something they're exploring, that they've taken a deep breath and want to get up and share with the whole world. Or I have people on the show who are experts in how to get out there and get known and be seen, how to share your product, how to share your message. And they come on and share a little bit about their expertise, also at the same time, being seen and being known. So there's a double whammy there. So in this particular session, we're going to find out a little bit more about Melissa, some exciting news that she has to share, and some of her expertise on how she shares her books and how she helps her people get out there and be seen. So who is Melissa? Well, Melissa lives in Sydney, Australia, for those who are watching globally, with her husband and 2 boys. She struggled through 3 miscarriages and had a stillborn baby from 2007. And after her sons were born, she published her memoir, My Life of Loss, and it's an awesome memoir. Melissa had compiled and published 2 books written by women who have experienced pregnancy struggles and has also contributed to 3 anthologies. Melissa was nominated and awarded in Australia Day Awards in 2017 for her dedication and contribution in helping families through pregnancy and loss. In 2019, Melissa became an ambassador for the Pink Elephant Support Network, awesome network, supporting mothers who have experienced miscarriage. She has also started a business helping influencers write and publish their own personal stories so they can change the world. Melissa, you have so much to share with us. So many threads that you've brought together. It's so awesome to have this conversation. I guess where we might start was, I know you started a VA business in 2018 because you wanted to work from home. How did all that evolve into where you are now? And there's probably a little bit of backstory to that as well.
Yeah, so I've always wanted my own business. It's been like since I was, in my early 20s, I've always wanted my own business, and I just never knew what I wanted to do. And one morning I woke up literally just saying, I want to be a VA. I've heard a lot about it. So literally that day, I registered my business name, made a little logo, and just started sort of promoting a little bit. But that didn't last very long. I didn't really give it much time. It wasn't really something that I felt passionate for. But I don't know, I fell into the book publishing. So, sorry. I fell into the book publishing. So because I knew, because I wrote all those books and I compiled all those books, I had, the background of publishing. So I just decided that, I would either start doing like anthologies, or I would just help people publish their own books. So basically that's where I'm at. I'm helping people publish their own books. But that all came from basically starting to write a story from my pregnancy losses. So if I didn't write the story of my pregnancy losses, I wouldn't be, helping people publish. It's just, I think, how it's come about.
I think that's awesome. And what I like about that, it shows to our viewers that you can have an idea for business, but it doesn't have to be the idea. you can try something, you can try out being in a business, but you don't have to feel that just because you started trying that business, you have to stay locked into that one idea. It gives you that opportunity to expand, which is what happened. You tried being virtual assistant, didn't work. But from there, because you've taken that first step into having a go at having a business, you are now able to find a business that you're passionate about.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's awesome. And
yeah,
so far you've published 12 of your own books and journals, as well as many chapters and other anthologies, or has that gone up since then?
yeah, no, that's probably about right. And then I'll have the next one coming out in October.
And that's the one I wanted to ask you about. There is a new book coming in October. Do you want to give us a little bit of a hint and share the excitement about that?
Yeah, so it's about, well, it's the third series of my Letters of Love book. So I've got the Letters of Love books here if you want to have a look. So that's,
Here we go. Yeah. Oh.
That's the first one.
That's it. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. We've got the second one here. Yeah. And then the third one's coming out in October, which is all related to pregnancy and infant loss. So it's more niched. So what they are is, you know, letters written by authors or, you know, ordinary people that have, you know, like written a letter to somebody that they love, care about, or even to themselves, their former self, to other people, to the community. But this one in particular is around pregnancy and infant loss. It's close to my heart because I've experienced, you know, the heartache of going through loss. And so we've got 10 people. 10 people in this book who have also experienced loss of a baby. And we are releasing that on Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day, which is October the 15th this year, or every year, but we're releasing it then. And it's just going to be, I think this is going to be a book where a lot of people will be really, I don't know how to say, like it's a book where a lot of people will be informed. There's going to be, you know, really emotional letters in there. People that have experienced pregnancy and infant loss will get something from it, like in any way, from the, you know, the beginning of loss to grieving and, you know, grieving years later. I think many people will have that have been through the loss, or even families that have had people go through loss will, you know, get something out of it.
It sounds a very powerful book.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be a link where I can put below for people to go and connect with you.
Yeah.
More information about it. So we'll share that link. When it comes to publishing, you started out publishing your own books.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where you worked on to then to publish other books and help them market it.
Yeah.
What was the impetus behind publishing your book rather than going to another publisher? What was it that you thought, that moved you to sort of, well, okay, I'll do this myself? What was it?
I didn't want to spend time looking for somebody to help me publish. Basically, I didn't know any better anyway. The first book I published was my memoir. Mm-hmm. And we just learned, like, off the cut, really. We just did lots of Google searches and yeah, try to figure out how to put a book together. And then basically just, like, after I wrote my book, I realized that a lot of people wanted to express their stories. So that's where my second book came about, which was the the anthologies of pregnancy struggles, which is called Comfort for the Tears, Light for the Way. And then it just rolled on from there. I just wanted to just keep going. I just got better and better at it. And so now I've got, 12, 13 almost books.
Awesome. And I guess when we're talking anthologies, people, that's books where people have contributed a chapter. And there's a whole variety of different of those. It can be business books, it can be, as you've got, inspirational, motivation books, and there can be case studies. There's a whole lot. What is it, do you think, that draws you to wanting to do anthologies, contributions?
I think they are very inspiring. Getting to know different people's view on a certain topic. We can learn something from everybody. Like, you don't have to just read one book from the same author. You're getting different perspectives from the different authors. And I think that they're just very inspiring, just very motivating. And I just think they can help a lot of people in different ways.
It's a very good way for someone who's putting their toe in the water, so to speak.
Yeah,
who maybe
exactly.
hasn't written before and is approaching it with a great trepidation about, I'm not sure I can actually write.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier as well. So instead of writing I don't know, 100,000 K word book, they've only have to write 3,000 or something like that. So it just makes it a lot easier for them, and they can still share their story. They can still be a published author.
And that's exactly true too. People think, oh, if I just contribute a chapter to a book, that doesn't make me an author. But hey, no, it does.
Yeah.
If you are out there in a book, you're an author. And that's a really immense thing to be able to put on your bio, to be an author.
Yeah.
What couple of tips would you give someone who is thinking, well, I do want to be an anthology, but how do I choose it, or where do I go, or what do I do to find one that I will resonate with?
Well, I think firstly you need to know what you'd be able to write about. There's no point in going into a book about, I don't know, law or something if you know nothing about law. So you'd have to find something that's going to resonate with you and help the publisher, get that book out, because they've got something that they can learn from you, and you can learn from them. So I guess that's probably the first step. The second part, well, there's a lot of people on Facebook, and that's how I've found a lot of people, through my books. I mean, all of them through Facebook pretty much, or Instagram. You just network with people and get involved with other people, and I don't know, you just find them somehow, like even using hashtags. You can find people that do these type of things. They're everywhere.
Absolutely. In fact, I wonder if you've noticed this. I have, in the last year, maybe 2 years, I've seen a really big increase in people going down that track and facilitating anthologies. And so there is a lot of opportunities out there. There are a lot of author, writers, book type groups. And I think if you sort of search some of those, you're going to find some groups that will resonate with you.
Yeah.
Having said that, what do you think are some of the pitfalls that maybe new authors, new writers might fall into when they approach for anthologies? Things that they should be watching out for?
I think some people think it's a scam. I know a lot of people, even in myself, because I'm the publisher, they come to me expecting to do it for free. And while we can, get people to do it for free, it's not a big deal, but we still have costs involved that need to be paid. And if you want to have a book out, if you want to be part of an anthology, you have to expect, even if you're writing your own book, you still have to, spend money on an editor, on a cover designer, on someone to format your book if you don't know how to do it yourself. So these cost money, and I think authors or people that want to be in anthologies, they just don't understand that. So I think they think it's a scam, whereas they have to consider the time involved in actually putting the book together, and marketing as well. Like marketing, costs money as well. It costs in time mostly, but if you have to hire somebody to market your book, then it costs money. So yeah,
that's quite true, because you come across a lot of people who, when you say you're putting together an anthology, and then you say, oh, we want a contribution of so much, and I think, no, why should I be contributing, and why should I be paying? You're the one doing the book, and you should be be delighted that I'm going to give you a chapter.
Yeah.
And they do forget, and especially if they're new, they don't realize all the costs behind there. What do you think? And this is just a rough idea and rough estimate, and you're probably going to tell me it's as long as a piece of string. But an average cost that someone should be thinking about, because I'm thinking the newbies coming through, and I know there are so many anthologies out there, and there's so many brilliant people, but I also do know there are some people who are maybe not quite so brilliant. And what do you think, if they were approaching, what sort of cost do you think would be reasonably reasonable? And I know it varies depending where you do it, what the book is, how long the book is. There's a lot of variables there, but maybe something just to give them a bit of a guideline.
Yeah. Okay. So I think anywhere between, I've seen up to $2,000-3,000, but anywhere between, say, $500 and $1,500 is fairly reasonable, I think. And it depends on what they're offering afterwards. So if they're offering like a $3,000 package, you probably expect them to give you more of like a VIP type of package, which includes like marketing, visibility, media, introductions and things like that, guarantees that you're actually going to be in a feature or something like that. So you'd probably be expecting to pay about $2,000-3,000 for something like that. But for a standard type of book, I'd probably say around up to probably $1,000, between $500 and $1,000.
Yeah, I've seen them from there too. And yes, there are some frees out there, and that will depend on what the book is, and if someone is looking to help some people, they might be putting together a real freebie to launch some people.
Yeah.
And that's a different sort of anthology. It's a different framework. You don't get them very often, but you can keep an eye out for occasionally someone will say, look, I'm going to do a freebie, let's get together and let's just pop it out there. Very rare, but you can keep your eye out. Usually people do want you to contribute because, as Melissa said, there's a lot of costs behind it that people don't realize. The big thing, though, that I think is really great about anthologies, that you can share those costs.
Yeah.
Your shares, so you put it in. I guess my thoughts would be, as Melissa has said, to check what you're getting for your money. Ask for a list, ask for a pricey, a prospectus, what they're planning to give you. Would you expect for every anthology to at least get one copy of the book for yourself?
Yes, at least one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be a fair proposal, a fair expectation that you would get, as a contributing author, you would get at least one copy free. And then there's usually a reduced cost for you as an author to be able to purchase more.
That's
Again,
right.
there's a variety of ways there, isn't there? There's several ways that a facilitator putting together will operate from that, isn't there?
Yeah, everybody's different. Like for myself, I give my authors the opportunity to purchase at wholesale price. So then when they sell their own books, like printed copies, excuse me, they can actually make a profit. Like if we sell a book for $20, and the cost of it is, I don't know, $5, they're making a $15 profit sort of thing. So that's, one way if they're really interested in getting maybe their money back at least, then they can sell their own copies. So that's another thing that they can keep in mind as well.
It really is a considerably variety of options. It's amazing. When I first started my books and started contributing to anthologies, I was absolutely amazed. I'd do this chapter and I'd get this for this one, and then next person, then I would think, my God, this is completely different. It is. It's as long as a piece of string.
Yeah.
I guess from Melissa and our viewpoint, the best thing is to find out from the prospectus and really find out exactly what you're getting, and then make your decision based on where you want to go with that book and why you're entering in that book. Is it just to put your toe in the water? Is it to expand what it is? So the next step, people have either written their own book or they've gone into done an anthology. What are some tips that I know you help people like I do get their books out there, and what are some tips that you could offer on, okay, there's that book, what do I do next?
Well, I guess it depends as well, like, on what your goals are. So if you've got a business, for example, you can use a book to leverage your business. There's lots of opportunities to put links and website addresses and things like that inside the book, so people can actually, when they read the book, they've got access to you, automatically if they're interested in contacting you. So that's a way to leverage your business, and it's credibility as well. So you can have a Facebook page, or you could have a business behind it and have your book and share your book on social media, and you get credibility for saying, I've written a book, type of thing. So
Melissa, you've written this book, you've gotten into an anthology. What do you do with your book? What do you do? You leave it on the shelf, leave it there? What do you do next?
So you kind of need to have an idea of where you want to go with the book. So you need a goal. You don't want it to sit on the shelf. You want to do something with it. Usually the publisher will give you an opportunity to put website links in there, or an email address or something. So whoever reads your chapter will be able to contact you if they need to. So if you've got like a business that you're launching, or that you've already got a business and you want to expand, that's credibility for you. You've got the opportunity to share that book and just say, yay, I've got a book written, come and get my book, sort of thing. And they read your story and know that you're an expert in what you do, and they're they're likely to, you know, look up to you, basically. So yeah, that's one way, I guess, you know, having that goal if you've got a business. If you don't have a business, if it's just something that you want to write, if it's just something that you've always wanted to do, then that's fine. But there are ways that you can actually, you know, market your book as well. You can, you know, do it organically through, you know, Facebook, social media. You know, there's lots of groups on Facebook that you can go and, you know, get ideas from. You know, I actually help with marketing. So if you ever need, you know, some help with marketing, you know, you've got Facebook ads, Amazon ads, and that type of thing as well, if you're, you know, ready to pay for ads as well. So it's lots of different options. You just need to know your goals.
Absolutely. And I think it's almost the same as, you know, going into anthologies. Our previous question, there are so many options and ways of doing it. And I'm, you know, what Melissa's saying, it's basically figuring out for yourself what your goal is, because what your goal is going to drive how much you're going to spend on your marketing, or where you're going to market, or how you're going to leverage it. Yeah. So one of the, I think the prime thing that Melissa, and I'm going to pull out from there what Melissa's been sharing, is that you need to have a very good idea from your own perspective where you want to go with that book, what your message is, why you're writing it, what was the reason behind it. Melissa, how about you share with us what's your biggest challenge when you did your first book, and when you decided to go into helping to authors and publishing your own books? What was your biggest challenge about stepping up and being seen?
I think the biggest challenge was actually writing or sharing my story, because it was very personal to me. I was very scared to get out there to share what I had. I mean, you know, I had family and friends that knew what I was going through, but, you know, the world didn't. And it was like the first time I launched my first book. I mean, it wasn't really a launch. It was just putting it up on Facebook and saying, you know, here's my book, kind of, you know, you can have a read of it, you know. But it was really, even that time was really scary, because, you know, it was the first time a lot of people actually read that book. But I realized that, you know, there was more people that wanted to, you know, contribute to a book, and they never had the opportunity to. And I realized that, you know, people do want to share their stories. They just need, you know, they need a step, they need an opportunity. And, you know, I was helping them get that opportunity, or giving them that opportunity to do so. So, and it just kind of flew from there. But, you know, every step was a hurdle. Like the second book, I didn't charge anything. Like, I think I charged maybe $30, because, you know, that's all I knew. I didn't know any better. And you know, I've just worked my way from there. So, you know, every book that I've written, every book that I've published, just get better and better and better at it. And you know, I'm still going. I'm still trying to be seen. You know, even getting interviews, you know, it's something, you know, getting out there. I'm still scared to do live videos, even though I do them occasionally. But, you know, just hitting record sometimes is a big struggle for me, because I just don't know what to say for half the time. But yeah, there's, you know, still get nervous, still try to, you know, just keep going.
It's okay to get nervous. It really is. I get nervous just as much when I've got to go do a live video. But I would want to pick up on that. Doing, you know, if you've got a book, or you've put yourself out there and you're part of an anthology, one of the things that Melissa said I want to pick up on, and I think really stresses, there are podcasts out there. There are web TVs like mine. There are numerous places, and it's probably one of the best places is to go and ask people, say, you want to talk about your book, share it. And people who've got podcasts and web TVs and that, they're always looking for people to interview.
Yeah.
So there's always an opportunity. And it doesn't matter how obscure your book might be or how different it is. I can guarantee you there'll be a podcast, there'll be a web TV that your book would fit. And the host would say, this would be great for my listeners. This would be great for my viewers. So, yeah, as Melissa said, get out there, get yourself interviewed, be seen on that. Absolutely. I wanted to go back to something that you did mention, and you mentioned Instagram. Now, Instagram is an interesting place. How would you recommend that authors utilize Instagram to get their book out there? What are some of the things that you've done?
Excuse me. I have seen, like, I do use Instagram, but probably not as much as I should. You know, I know I've seen a lot of authors use Instagram to show off their book, to have to hold their book in front of them to say, you know, this is my book, that, you know, go and get it, sort of thing. But they actually write a story with it, so they're not just putting a photo up, you know, of their book. They're actually, you know, sharing, you know, part of their story. And I think the picture always, you know, has to reflect the story. So not just showing a picture of your book, you know, it has to be something that's yes, you have to share your story. You have to share why, you know, you've written it, and it needs to be like themed throughout, I guess, Instagram. And your, you know, your title on Instagram, you know, you can put your author, your name, you know, there's lots of hashtags that you can use in Instagram, you know, that relate to the topic of your book. You know, there's millions of author hashtags as well, not just, you know, for your topic. But yeah, there's just there's a big audience for authors on Instagram, I think. You just need to know how to utilize it, I guess.
Absolutely. I think from that, I would say just play, experiment, try, because that's what we all do. And you only learn by trying, and you only learn to see what works and what doesn't work and have a go at it.
That's right.
So we could probably talk for hours about books and publishing, because it's one of my favorite topics as well. And people, just to let you know, we've actually co-authored.
Oh yes, that's right.
A book together.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh, a while back. Yes, a long while back. What would be your top 2 tips to stepping up and being seen? We've touched a bit on some of them, but maybe just top 2 or even 1.
I think networking. Go and network with people. You know, I know I've seen many people who have 100 followers on their Facebook page and expect to be seen. But the reality is, if you've got 100 people, they're probably just your friends or your family. And then probably not the ones that are going to, you know, encourage you to network, so to speak. You know, they might encourage you to, you know, write a book or whatever, or, you know, read your book, but they might not be the ones that you've been networking with. So, you know, go and friend request people, go and find people that you know, are, you know, a step ahead of you, that, you know, you can learn from. They're probably, you know, there's hundreds or millions, billions of people out there that you can network with, and you just find 1 or 2 of them, and they can really open doors for you. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest tip, is to network. And I guess the second one is just to, you know, show up online, just be consistent. online, even if it's not through TV or, videos or whatever, or even podcasts. Even if you just write your story, just share your story online and people will find you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa. They're gold tips, people. Absolutely gold tips. And there's a lot that Melissa has been sharing in our session today. So I'm saying you've got my permission to stop now if you want to, rewind and go back and pick up some of the really great tips that Melissa's been sharing. That's the awesome thing about
that's right.
You can do that. You can stop, rewind, and go back and listen to those tips. And I happen to know that Melissa has a free gift for our viewers. So what would that be, Melissa?
Yes, so I do have because I can help people publish, I have a free book marketing and publishing guide. I think it's my website, melissadesveaux.com /free playbook or something like that.
Yeah,
can you put it in?
We'll put the link below. People.
Yeah, put the link below. I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a free playbook to help you self-publish and market your book. So yeah, come and pick that up as well.
Awesome. Good one to get, people. And they can contact you, and there's a variety of places, Melissa, where they can get hold of you.
Yeah, so Facebook, melissadesveaux.com. My website is melissadesveaux.com. Facebook is it facebook.com /melissadesveaux-books is my Facebook page. All the links, Facebook, Instagram, website,
Awesome. And reach out, people. Melissa does anthologies. If you're listening here and thinking, I've always wanted to write, probably a good person to contact and see when her next anthology is coming out and whether it's one that resonates with you. And then think about all the places that Melissa shared where you can go to find that. Groups, Facebook, keep it up, because as we were both discussing, anthologies seem to be on the trend. People are facilitating a lot of those. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to get out there and just tip your toe in the water and see what it's like to be an author. Melissa, thank you so much for being with us on our session. You've had an awful amount of absolute gold to share with our viewers. So I really appreciate it, and thank you. And good luck for October.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. People, you've been watching Get Known, Be Seen Web TV with me as the host, Trish Springsteen. You can see that up there. If you go to my website, you can see links. If you just go to YouTube, you can see the Get Known, Be Seen Web TV there. Now, be good when you click on the link here to go, because there'll be links when I promote this, and you go there. Do you know what? When you get to my channel there, there's a big, huge button. And you know what it says on there? It says subscribe. Very good idea, people. Subscribe to the channel, because that way you will never miss out when a new session goes up. And just think, people, if you don't subscribe, you could be missing out on this great interview that we've just had and all the other interviews of people who are sharing their message, their passion, their book, or their expertise. So thank you for watching. And if you are watching this and you would like me to speak on your stage at your event, as a guest on your podcast or web TV, whether it's online, offline, I'm absolutely available. Again, go to my website there. You can download my media one page, and my speakers one page has all the information there. And I would be delighted to come and share some of my thoughts with you. You've been watching Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being our special guest in this session.
Thank you.
Be awesome, people. Bye for now.